Hello everybody, I'm Marina Mchedlidze and I host webinar Personal Branding for Freelancers. Today my guest is Griffin, Personal Brand Marketing Strategist for Professional Services from the United States of America. Michelle will share her experience, how she helps professionals and freelancers to build their personal brand and give us some recommendations. Hello everybody, I'm very happy to be host of our webinar. We have a today webinar for freelancers and our guest is Michelle Griffin from USA. She is personal branding strategist and she will help us to understand how we can build our compelling personal brand. And before we start our webinar, I would like to ask all of you, please write down in the chat where are you from. Just let us know because we are curious about it. And if you have any questions, you can always write down in the chat. And after presentation, Michelle will answer all of your questions. So let's start. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. And please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. I am so happy and honored to be here with among all of you, especially in your evening. It's about noon here in Florida, so I know we're quite a few hours apart. So I'm going to introduce myself in a minute. But today I want to ask you a very important question. Before that, as you know, we're talking about personal branding for freelancers. Learn how you can set up and develop your impactful personal brand that sets you apart and sets you up for success. So before I tell you who I am, I want to ask you a very important question. Now, on social media, out in the marketplace, among your peers at work, why is it, or have you noticed, some people rise out of nowhere? They're known, they get all the perks, all the attention, the recognition, they seem to attract the best fit clients, and they get paid really well. Now, why is that? Are they any better? What's their secret? Are they any smarter than you or us or me? Do they have better connections and know the right people? Do you think they're better educated than you are, or have advanced degrees or certifications? Or maybe they're just so extroverted and have charisma, people are just naturally drawn to them, right? Well, I want to ask you, what do you really think their secret is? Is it all that? Or is it something else? Well, today I'm here to bring this secret to light. It's not a secret, and this is something you can attain and do today, and I'm going to show you how. They don't have any of those things I just mentioned because what they have are a well-defined personal brand. Yes, a personal brand. And guess what? You are one too and have one. We all have a personal brand, either by design or default. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what that means in just a little bit. But just remember that today, either by design, being deliberate with it, or by default, not doing anything, you are and have a personal brand.
That's true.
Now I'm sorry?
That's true. We all have our personal brand. We are conscious about it or not.
Exactly. By design or default is like I like to say. So before I break down what exactly all this is, what does it mean and all the things about it, and exactly my 7-step process to help you define yours, I'm going to tell you about who I am. I'm Michelle Griffin. You didn't know. Sorry, I'm shouting up there like a billboard. I certainly didn't mean that to show up like that. But anyway, I'm Michelle Griffin. I'm an international certified branding strategist where I work with clients all over America and the UK, Australia, all over, helping them build their personal brands. I also am a StoryBrand certified marketing guide. If you're familiar or not with the StoryBrand framework, it's a wonderful book called Building Your StoryBrand. I've been certified and trained for that, which is how to bring your messaging to light with the customer as the hero and you're the guide. I'm also a marketing executive with 20 years experience in public relations, events, and setting up strategic marketing and PR events and campaigns. I'm also about to launch in 2 weeks my podcast and LinkedIn Live it's called The Business of You. And my philosophy is a personal brand helps you by getting recognized and dialing it in. You will be better recognized with more visibility and being known so you can have greater professional and business opportunities. My version of a personal brand is not fluffy or anything like that. It's to give you the best advantage and have a competitive advantage. And finally, I'm a daily LinkedIn content creator, which means every single day I show up on LinkedIn consistently posting content, thought leadership, about personal branding, about building your personal brand and business on LinkedIn, content marketing, all the things, connecting community. That's the topics that I'm very passionate about. And doing so, all these things have really helped me dial in my personal brand. Now, the funny and ironic thing is I'm a very extroverted person, but extremely private online. It took me a long time to bust out of my comfort zone, despite the fact I'm in marketing branding and I help clients do it. I can understand if any of you here have reservations, if you consider yourself a little bit more guarded, a little bit more introverted, I want to assure you that I am the same way online, and there is a way to do this. So you don't have to feel like you're putting yourself out there, but you're putting yourself out there to be in service of others. So we're going to get into that today. So I want to rest your fears that this is all about being flashy and all about being a celebrity and all about you. This is not what today's about. This is today to show you in your best light so you can have the personal and professional advantages that you deserve. So now that you know a little bit about me and why I think a personal brand is so important, I'm going to tell you exactly what one is and how to get one or develop one, yours. So by definition, I would say a personal brand, especially if you're in LinkedIn in America, and personal branding, they sound a little trendy right now. No one really seems to really know what they mean, or there's many definitions, or there's many misconceptions. But today, my version to let you know is that it's just your reputation. It's the essence of who you are inside, all the things that make you up, and your professional reputation. It's exactly what people think and say about you. They think and say, even when you're not around. Okay. So that's an important thing when I illustrated we have a personal brand by design or default. So that's why you want to design it, right? And not default on it. So that's what the kind of a textbook true version of a personal brand is, the way I practice it. Now, I take it a little bit thing. I'm more of a heartfelt personal brand. I know the word authentic is super trendy and I don't even like to use it, but I wanted to illustrate the softer side of my personal brand mission and the way I work with clients. It's all about just being real, relatable, and exactly as you are in person. It's so you can show up as the personal brand of you, dialed in with who you are, how you represent, and we're going to get in that, but it's to be about others. It's about you, but it's not for you. So I wanted to make that super, super clear. I'm all about having professional advantages and opportunities, but at the end of the day, it's to be of service to others. Now, personal branding is a little bit different. It's like a marketing strategy. It's an intentional act of curating, defining, differentiating, developing your professional presence so that you leave a positive and lasting impression when you're not around. Because remember, I just said the personal brand is the way people think and feel about you when you're not around and say things about you when you're not around. So you want them to be crafted in the best light. You want to be intentional about it. That's why personal brand is important. So personal branding is the act of creating that. I also like to say it's extremely important to humanize and personalize it because people do business with people. They want to know who's behind the brand, behind what makes you you and who's in the business. So this is just an all way to humanize and personalize our businesses, all in service to others. Now, because I've told you how important personal branding is, and that you have one either by either defined or default, I want to ask you this. If you are not defining yours right now, and trust me, no pointing fingers here because we're all in different journeys, different speeds. No pointing fingers. Today's all about encouraging you to do so. But if you don't, I just want to say you may be selling yourself short. And that is kind of a bold thing to ask and say to someone, right? If you don't have a personal brand, are you selling yourself short? And I say yes, because I know you all here are amazing people. You all have exact skills, expertise, and an important mission, message, and a way to help people. So if you're not out there, people don't know who you are. They don't know how much you can help them. And especially online, when we're all online in our digitally connected, socially minded, always on world, right? So let me ask you this. If you're selling yourself short, let's think about your online presence. Is it helping you or is it holding you back from the greater professional opportunities that exist when you step out to stand out and succeed? And I'm going to get in a little bit more about what those mean. For freelancers like you, a personal brand matters so much, okay? Like I said, there's so many greater opportunities, personal, professional, speaking, being on podcast, all those other things, but just at the basic level for your business. If you're not dialed out and specialized and known, then you're competing on price, right? You're blending in, you're not standing out. You're not attracting the ideal clients or not as many or the best fit. Because when people know who you are and we really craft that presence of your personal, professional persona and how you help them and your message, your clear message, which is so important, then people start knowing, oh, you're known, you're recognized, you get these results. So let's talk about why you as a freelancer especially need a personal brand. Well, in today's world, we're all online. If we go out to eat, go to a movie, I know some of these are pre-COVID concepts, but in general, when we want to buy something, do something, find something, we go online, right? So at least 80, and it's probably even greater now, of consumers search before they buy. So if someone's not referring you, or even if you are referred, someone is going to go online, that person, and look to make sure you're credible, you exist, and to validate that you exist and that you're good and worthy and all the things that people say about you. So you have to have a brand. Now, a brand, which I'll tell you a little bit later in the misconceptions, it's more than just showing up on social media. That's what I want to discount with you. But another thing is we have attention deficit now, right? You need to be out there crafting your personal brand. And that sounds hard, but it's just showing up. And I'll get to the framework. But people need to be reminded over and over again that you are that person who is here to help them. Because we have attention deficit with all the content out there, all the social media. So you standing out there, not making noise, but bringing value will help people always be aware and have the attention on you in the way of you want, not the way of being flashy and all about you, but to help others. And then of course, when you're starting to get out there, you're going to start being known and attract those perfect fit clients, right? And you won't have to go chasing them. Now, like I said before, if you're not doing your personal brand, then someone's going to define it. They're going to misinterpret who you are. And I can attest to that because I wasn't doing a good job when I was working in my corporate job. People assumed I was working in insurance, even though I was an executive in marketing and events. People in the insurance industry, people assumed I worked in insurance, which was the last thing I wanted to be assumed with. No offense to any insurance people out there. I was proud to be a marketer. So I can relate. I'm not pointing any fingers. I realized no. And it used to aggravate me. I'm like, no. So when I left to become an entrepreneur in January 2020, I made sure I got that dialed in very quickly. And so part of what the framework that I'm going to share with you is learned by trial and error. And of course, all my work with personal branding clients too. So even more benefits. Why as a freelancer? As I said, when you're getting out there and people know you and you're publishing value content and showing your expertise out there, you're going to start getting people coming to you rather than trying to go hunt for clients. And isn't that so much better to have an endless pipeline than just the feast or famine mode? I think so. And then this is going to help you be top of mind and sought after. They kind of go hand in hand with the inbound stuff. And then not only that, you're going to develop a community of collaborative partners and opportunities. The opportunities that I mentioned earlier, like suddenly people are going to ask you to be on podcasts because they know you. They know you're an expert and have valuable information to share with their audience. They're going to invite you to speak, right? You're going to get all these things that you would have never dreamed. And I'm going to tell you, I can attest for this with my clients and myself. When I finally got the gumption to be consistent and standing out and develop my personal brand, even though I help people do it, it was, it takes some time and traction, but they're coming now. The leads, the podcasts, all the stuff. You just have to be out there and you have to be consistent. Now, I know this all sounds kind of vague, and I get that, but I'm about to show you a 7-step process that I use and I take my clients through to help them get the clarity and the strategy and the actual and achievable tactics to do it. So let's get on. Oh, before we do that, I forgot to tell you something. Before you discredit, or maybe if I haven't sold you yet on what personal branding is about, I see and hear this a lot, especially on LinkedIn. People don't know exactly what personal brands are about and what personal branding does. And I get that. I totally get that. There's a lot of misinformation out there. But I want to assure you, the personal brand that I am going to teach you today and what I help people develop on my own, you don't have to be a celebrity, sports stars, or influence. Everyone thinks of celebrities, but no. In today's day and age, you are a personal brand. You can be in control of your own narrative to be in service to others. So it's all about you, okay? But remember, it's not for you. It's all about who you are as you show up, craft that presence to solve the problem for the people you help. So it's not about you. So you don't have to worry. I do get a lot of people saying, look, I'm very private. I don't want to be flashy. I don't want to have a million pictures about me. That is not my style. I don't want to be splashed on all the things. And I can tell you, I'm the same way. But when you realize you're coming out to help others, it reframes everything and you don't feel like it's about you. Well, it's not, but you don't feel that in comfort level, if that makes sense. Another misconception I see a lot, and if you go and I follow the hashtag personal branding on Instagram, and I also follow it on LinkedIn. Now, no fingers attached. I mean, no fingers pointed by any means. I'm just illustrating the little things that I see. People will just take selfies and call that personal branding. And that's not really what that is about. You don't just post on social media and say I'm personal branded, because it's a deeper, more foundational, deliberate act. And the way I do it, my full plan is to monetize it. It's not just doing the fluffy stuff. We're building a business behind it. This is a brand to build your business and professional opportunities. So the other misconception, or people discredit a lot, especially on LinkedIn, they're like, oh, I don't need a personal brand. My experience speaks for itself. Everyone knows who I am. Well, that might be true in your community, but we're all online and in a digital world now. You can have clients all over, right? Not everyone knows you. And why not spread like a ripple effect, your reputation, your reach, right? And it used to be, it's who you know, not anymore. It's who knows you. Not in a way that you think, but who can spread your message, who can help spread the mission and the people you're trying to connect. So yeah, you do need one, no matter that. You have one, but you need to develop it, okay? And now some people say, gosh, it's so expensive or time consuming. I don't need to bother with that. Well, it's not expensive when you think about, we're going to dial in some of the foundational work. You're going to do a lot of these things anyway. So it's just putting a very strategic frame around that makes sense, a logical frame, making sense of all the things that you need to step out there. And time consuming, well, isn't building a business time consuming? Why be in business if you're not going to put in the effort? It's like compound interest. Every day you're doing, we're working consistently to build it. So yeah, every day it's growing and getting bigger, and the ripple effect and the reach is getting wider. So it's no more time consuming than doing your freelance business. It's just a very deliberate act to craft that presence so you have better opportunities. And then the other final thing is what people say. Well, why should I do this? I have nothing to say. I'm just XYZ. I just do what I do. Well, you all have a vision and a perspective and a way you approach things. And you do have something important to say because it's not about you. It's what you do, taking in context to the person you help. So there are endless ways. And that's what I help my clients do. We dive deep into the content and the way to present yourself. So hopefully I've taken these misconceptions and myths and brought light to them and demystified them because they really, really don't make sense and they're not relevant for today's world. So with that being said, I keep wanting to get to the framework and I keep wanting to teach you to it. But one more last thing, just to drive home why a personal brand matters. It's going to help you get noticed, right? When we're visible and we're known, people know how much we help them. When you're invisible and unknown, or in a smaller circle, people don't know how much you can help them. So we want to be noticed. Being noticed and being consistently out there will help you have that top of mind known persona. And then for results, because I don't do personal brands for fluffy, narcissistic ways. It's to drive results for your business. And as a freelancer, it's so important, right? As they say, there's even more freelancers every day coming out in the world. So we need to define and differentiate you so you stand out and get all these results. These are just some of the adjectives to describe all the good things that come from a personal brand. So I highly recommend that you have an open mind about it because I really, really want all of you to succeed and be out there because I know you have so many important things to share. Okay, so now I'm ready, right? I keep saying why I've told you what a personal brand is and that you have one by design or default. I've told you my definitions and my authentic real version, which is just about being you in service to others. And I've told you some of the benefits and the misconceptions that hopefully make sense now to you. So you might be saying, Michelle, this all makes sense. I understand this now, but tell me how to do it. I read about all the ways personal brands, kind of fluffy stuff. I need a strategy. I need the tactics, achievable tips. Well, I'm going to give you a very high level version of the 7-step process that I take my clients through. This is something I learned on my own. I developed it a little over 2 years ago, and I've honed and refined it. And it's proven to be very, very beneficial and successful. This is what I call my personal brand impact method. It's how to help you define, differentiate, and develop your impactful personal brand. Because I'm all about making an impact. Whatever that means to you, we're not just here for ourselves, we're here for others. So let's get started and I will tell you. Remember to take notes, but if not, I know these will be, this replay will be in YouTube so you can go back and listen. Here's just a quick overview. I'm going to break it down of the 7 steps that takes you from one point, undefined, to well-defined, recognized, sought after. Okay, these are the 7 things you need, the 7 ways to develop that impactful personal brand. Okay, getting to the first thing is the purpose. Now, the purpose is more like the purpose of you, your goals, why you do this. I merge the personal and the professional here. I want to make sure you're doing and showing up exactly how you feel comfortable and how you're best aligned with your beliefs, your principles, all the good things that make you comfortable, happy, and light you up, right? We don't want to put you out in the world doing something that's not aligned with you. This isn't that fluffy, but it's very, very important. How you align professionally is how exactly you are personally, because I can tell you as an entrepreneur having your own business, if you are doing the work you don't love, it's not going to be sustainable or successful. So when I work with my clients, we get on the purpose, we dive in the mindset, hopefully discrediting some of those myths that I just told you about, but we get into what makes you both personally and professionally. Okay. That's what a personal brand is, personal and professional. So we do your brand identity. We talk about your goals. Not every one of you want the same thing. Like, do you want to build your business to just be, you're a solo business? Do you want a team? Do you want to start speaking? Do you want to get on podcasts? What is it that you want? Because if you don't identify what you want, there's no way to track it and to gauge it. So, it looks like the common typical branding stuff, but it's more dialed into you and who you are and what you want. So we get really clear. I have this proprietary assessment and all these questions that I really dial it out of you, because here's the truth. Unless you're some kind of superhero, it is almost impossible. And kudos if you can, but I have yet to find someone who tells me they can do this successfully, to pull out all this stuff on your own. Here's why. We are trapped in our own thoughts, in our own brains, and we can't make sense of the frame we're in, as I say. So it's so important, even if you just hire, and this is not a sales pitch, because I struggled for 5 years before I left my job trying to define this on my own. And here's the fact. When I developed this framework very loosely 2 years ago, it put things in context for me. So I can attest to you that getting this foundational stuff will give you that clarity and the confidence to get out there, okay, and to make all your business and marketing work. So that's what we do. We work on your personal branding and why, and that's a huge foundational thing. When you get all that dialed in, it all starts getting very clear. Now, as I told you, the second P is people. We are not here for ourselves. We are here as the product of us to serve others with our expertise and our mission, the good things that you do to help others as your business, in your business. So you do one thing for one person, okay? So we get really clear on who that one person is. Now, when I deal with clients who are like, oh, I want to help everyone, or, it's not going to really, you're going to get faster traction, one audience, okay? And one need, one desire. They're going to start, you remember the attention deficit economy when no one's paying attention? Well, when you get really clear and really niche down and even micro niche, you're going to start getting that traction. So we define not just, the first step is who you are, then we define who you serve, okay? Their needs, their desires, because that's going to all translate in your marketing, your messaging, and all that. And also too, when I say people, it's not just the people you serve. We all need a community. We need a community of friends, collaborative partners. People are just going to have your back, because you will build your brand faster when you have community of people around you. And also, I look at my clients and all the people in my social media, not as my audience, followers, subscribers. I call them my community, because I truly look at them as friends and colleagues, right? We can all be together to help each other. So people are the people you serve and the people you're going to build your community with. Now, the third P is position. One of the biggest problems I see, people not getting traction, either in their business or social with their content, is positioning. No one understands who they are or in context of what they do. And I'm really sorry, because it looks like I have a problem with my slide there. I don't know what happened. But anyway, we identify and differentiating, you might hear it as USP, whatever, what makes you uniquely you and differentiated in the market. Because when you stand out with one area of one thing you solve, one focus, one message, one audience, the power of one, you're going to get the fastest traction. You can build out from there, but the quickest way to dial deep is to get positioned uniquely you, personally, differentiated professionally, one area, one focus, one message. So once we work on that, we package you up like a little present here. You need to be packaged just like a brand. And it sounds like really complicated, but it's not. When you think about packaging, it's putting all what you do and how you present yourself out into the world. So this means your platforms, like website and socials, all that, which I'll get into in a minute. I even, we need to talk about your visuals. Like, I'm here with yellow. Yellow is my signature color. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm wearing yellow shirt. If you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see yellow. Yellow is all about my brand. But I don't talk about visuals, logos, and fonts off the bat. It comes, number 3 or 4, but you should have your packaging and visuals, right? Offers. We work on your offers. Your offer is then aligned with your brand, how you serve people. So people come to you, they come to your website. Well, how do you help me? If they don't know how you can help them and how it's packaged up, it's going to be hard for them to relate. So you want to have everything really dialed down in offers. And then assets. And those are the things that you use like for on your website, like a lead generating thing. Every business, every industry is going to have a different asset, but you should have some form of digital assets to show and illustrate what you do, like an ebook or something that just shows some kind of asset, like an email course, something little that you can give people to start the conversation and offer them a little bit more about your experience. Now, another package is email. Social is amazing. I highly encourage you to get on social, of course, if you're not already there. And I'll talk about social in a minute, but we can't live on social because it's not our space. It's a wonderful place to go where the fish are, where your audience is, but that you always want to bring them to your website and to your platform. Email's that connection point that you always have connection with them. So we work on our getting an email thing set up, and there's all different price points. There's even some amazing free ones. In fact, here are some online platforms as Freelancers. Now, this is America. I don't know in your country, for most of you, if I'm talking to these work, like obviously websites do, but some of the freelancing platforms, I mean, I'm not sure what's standard in your country, but at least in America, you know, you can get a website. Here's some ideas. Hard.co, you can get a free website. So if you're just starting out, your funds aren't as great, put up this free website. It's amazing. Try it out. CARRD.co. Then you want to set up your social media profiles, where your audience is located. Too many people try to go on too many social profiles. Do you remember when I said, just get focused, dive deep on one, maybe get really good at one platform. And that's where you spend all your time. And then maybe you can punch some other content, but you're going to wear yourself thin and get less traction until you get really clear in one area and then move out from there. Now, depending on who you are, what you do, there are a lot of professional freelancing platforms. You can set up a profile to get that double exposure. So check out those. And email. There's MailerLite is free. Ghost.org, I believe it's pretty low key, low price, and then ActiveCampaign. So there's so many email platforms, but I highly recommend you start one and start your own email list. Now, publish. This is the fun part. As a content creator, I love creating content, and I know not everyone does. So there's a way to make it very easy for you and not, you know, spend all your hours doing content. Your content is there to show your leadership and your authority and your expertise. Your content should connect with people, inspire them to action, inspire them and, you know, prop them up, educate them, all the good things, and then compel them to take action, right? To remind them that you are there to help. Some quick ways that I think content will get the best traction. One, content medium. Now, you might like to blog. You might like to talk to people like me. So have a podcast. You can do it for free. There's tools for free podcasting, or a video, live streaming. So find one good way that works for you to get your content out, the medium. And then to get really known and clear, you have content pillars. And what I mean by that are the themes, no more than 3 to 5 themes on what you want to be known for and what you talk about consistently. But here's the thing. You might like to talk about one thing, but it has to be related in context to the problem you solve, what you do for others, okay? Now, there are ways, and I get really deep in this content when I work with my clients. We have about 70% professional, but we want to show a personable side. And so we do work on that as well. So it's important to humanize and personalize as a brand so people know who you are, because it's a relationship business. We're working here people to people. They want to know who they're working with. So it's important to showcase that side as well. Now, content system is basically, instead of just, you need to put like a Trello board, find some way to package your content so you can repurpose, right? You don't have to keep creating the wheel all the time. And I work really deep with my clients on that. Rotating themes and formats. You're not going to talk about the same exact thing every day. You are and you aren't. You're going to just rotate that in a different way. And then you're going to rotate the format. You know, one day it might be a quote, an article, a post, a video. You want to update that. And then here's the thing, a consistent schedule. Whatever consistent means to you is what consistent should be. If you can do it daily, that's great. You know, it just depends on you, your context, your profession, all that good stuff. But you can't just show up one day, 3 weeks later, come back, 3 weeks later, you're never going to get traction and show up. You have to be in it to win it. And in a very respectful way, I mean. So it's all about you. to help others, but it has to work for you. So I do want you to remember that. Now, okay, I went backwards. Sorry about that. Proof. Now, this is so good, right? Like I've given you all these 7 steps, but here's the thing. We need to prove that. We need to show proof, because remember what I told you? People are online looking. They're looking for ratings, reviews, rankings. In today's day and age online, people need to prove it, because you can be all over the world helping people, but they need validation. They need trust. The trust is the most important thing you're looking for as part of your personal brand. You're getting out there, you're being personable. They want to know you can help them, but at the end of the day, trust. Trust, trust, trust. So we're working relentlessly to do that with our personality, our professional expertise, our content, but we want other people to tell our story and prove that for us. That's why testimonials and endorsements are so important. Even client success stories, and even the data and the metrics you use on your website and your social platforms, those are proof that people are really resonating and trust with you. And they're also proof that if it's not working, we can review and revamp it. So I'm a huge advocate of proving it. And it's not in a bad way. And don't stress out about it. It's just simply collecting all the good things people say and you do for them, and just putting that in a very online way, in context, with preserving all the, the right industry standards. I know some industries you can't say or, do things, but there's ways around it. But just to say, oh my goodness, this person, I trust them. They're amazing. Look at all these wonderful people who can attest. So proof is definitely part of that package. So in a very high level, these are all the 7 steps that take you from undefined to well-defined. Okay. But putting it all together, there are 5 areas that I have to just drive through as a well-defined, impactful personal brand. Clarity. Clarity is probably one of the most, if without clarity, none of this happens. So clarity on who you are, that sounds pretty vague, but who you are and what you're standing up for, who you're known for, right? Remember when people talk about you not there, what is that clarity that you've decided to show up as in context of who you are and your professional experience? So clarity will drive all this. And content, because you can have a website, you can do all this, but unless you're getting out there with the content and showing people what you do, that could be content in your email and your website, social, it doesn't drive the game. You got to have content. It is the fuel to your brand. And so is consistency. The consistency of staying out there, okay, day by day, little by little, consistency wins a game. Too often I see people try to do really well on social media and LinkedIn. They give it just a 2-week trial and they're done. Now, the people who are consistent stay in the game, win the game. And it's not a game. It's just they're being successful. So consistency, no matter what, it's like running a business. Got to be up there every day. And connection. We have to connect with others. We have to be in service to others. So connection is a huge proponent of your brand and how you will succeed. And then it goes back to community. Your community is your people and your partners who will help you spread your message and your personal brand. So these are all very, very important concepts that I recommend and think that without them, your personal brand cannot have the impact you want it to have. So in conclusion, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for your time today. I know we're all busy, but today I know that you showed up because you have it in you as a freelancer that your personal brand has to be out there. It should be out there because you have so much expertise that just needs to be on a higher level. So today I want to encourage you to get out there, get your personal brand defined with these 7 steps, and just keep showing up to help others. And I know you will succeed. Thank you again. One last thing, public service announcement. I've told you all about personal branding, but I don't know if all of you are on LinkedIn. If this is the place for you, I am offering a little bit of a special. So if you would like to get LinkedIn visible, I do have a LinkedIn Visible program. I have a special webinar rate. You can DM me or email me and I can help to make up. So what I do is just walk you through your LinkedIn in context of how you want to show up, give you a makeover, and then you'll be primed and ready to get on LinkedIn and start putting content out there. So that was my little special offer. And it's no pressure. That's just something if you're in the market. But again, thank you so much. And now we are going to go to Q&A. So I'm here to answer all your questions.
Thank you very much, because it was so incredible presentation, so many practical tips. Now just we need to start everything, doing everything, because you gave us so many recommendations. I love your 70s, 5Cs. The thing is how to start.
Yes.
In Georgia, nowadays, I noticed a trend that many entrepreneurs and many freelancers starting to build their personal websites. And that's good, you know, maybe these people have their company websites, but now they realized that they really need to build their personal brand too. Not just corporate brand, but personal brand too. And it's really good tendency. I'm also building my website, hope to finish soon, and I will rebrand myself on all social media platforms. And I hope it will be really a good launch. So I will inform all my community soon.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, so just, you know, the main thing about your website and your social,
yeah, it's very, very important, really. So let's see if we have questions in the chat.
Okay.
There are so many. Thank you. Yes.
I mean, does anyone have any things like what areas? I guess I know I covered a lot, so you're probably like brains like, are there any particular area that you want me to dive a little deeper on, or have a clarity on, or what's the number one area where you guys struggle the most?
Can I ask?
I think Katie raised. Yes, Katie raised a hand. I see. So maybe Katie, please.
Thank you, Marina, and thank you, Michelle, for very interesting presentation. So my question is, you know, some of perfectionists and a lot of freelancers, we are guilty on that. We want to do everything just perfect. So the question is, should we start and allow us to make some mistakes in the process of learning and, you know, putting yourself out there? Or first you need to sit down and have perfect plan and perfect website and everything perfect and then start?
Well, thank you for that. It's a really good question. I can tell you I struggled with that too. And I held myself back for those 5 years. You know, I struggled with thinking, over analyzing. I'm a perfectionist too, but you can be a perfectionist and that's not a good thing. It'll hold you back. So I would say, don't let perfection, you don't need perfection or permission to get out there. What is it that you do actually right now?
I'm a trainer. I'm a personal development trainer. I'm a coach, and I am a psychotherapist consultant.
Okay. So yeah, I would, are you doing your business now, or is this a new venture for you?
Yes.
You are. Okay. Don't let it stop you then. If you're already out there, you're getting your clients are going to give you that feedback. The market will give you feedback. If you're already out there, you'll get, obviously I don't, you know, I want you to think about what problem who you are, you know, what you are, but most importantly, like, what are you helping people with in the terms that they can understand, right? Not like, you know, I see a lot of people, you know, get very vague in what they do. And I don't like, especially on LinkedIn, like, I don't know what those people do. Put it in such simple terms that you're like a 5-year-old could understand it. So get super clear. Don't feel like you have to have a lot of complex jargon, you know, depending on your industry, of course, but get super clear, but your audience is going to tell you. I've tested a few things out myself. You know, your personal brand is you, but the way you show up and how you help people with your messaging, that's going to pivot a little bit depending on how the angle you take to help others. So go ahead and get out there, get that traction, get that feedback. The beauty of online, you can change it all up, right? So you want to be known for one thing. So, I mean, one day you're not going to come out as this, and then, you know, next day something completely different. My thought is that what you're doing, you might tweak the language, things like that. Is that what I'm hearing? You wouldn't do a massive pivot, but just something with your messaging or positioning. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's a little bit, I mean, just when I started, like when I made my first video and put it on YouTube, when I listened to it, I was terrified and immediately I went to speech, not therapy, but I'm learning how to speak.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of things that we need to learn, and we are not, I mean, it's a very brand new sphere. I mean, it's a lot of things to learn about that.
Exactly. And I don't want it to make it too complicated. That's why you find one meeting. Look, if you're not liking videos and you excel somewhere else, maybe audio. You can go to anchor.fm and get a free, even Buzzsprout has a free plan. So maybe an audio blog is your answer. I see a lot of people chasing shiny objects. Same here, no fingers, no pointing, because I'm the same way. Find what you're comfortable and you like, and it's not the effort, but get out there and what's comfortable for you. So maybe live streaming is easier. I will tell you that I find live stream videos so much easier because you don't have to hear yourself and read that replay and all that. And then people feel in the moment, they know you. So think about some things like that.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see Nina raised her hand as well. So Nina, please give us your question.
Yes, Michelle, thanks. First of all, it was very interesting. I have a question about our profiles on social media. More or less, we have good profiles on LinkedIn. We work, we look good. We have good profile picture. We share some professional content, and we look professional. But
Yes.
what about Facebook and other non-professional networks? Because it's where we are more informal and what can say something more about us. We have profile pictures of also less formal, and we share content, yes, pictures of with friends and so on. What about it? What should we consider when to put these social medias in line?
Yeah, that's a great question because we want to be professional on LinkedIn and personable and all that good stuff, but we have other things. Well, I would say in LinkedIn, be your professional, personable self, and again, there's people who, claim Facebook is, LinkedIn's turning Facebook, and you hear all this kinds of things, and that's the way the world is. You got to know what works for you, for your brand, your industry, your clients. I personally have the same picture on Facebook, profile picture on Facebook that I do on all my social platforms, just because I believe it should be consistent. I mean, if you want to have like an Instagram business account where you can just talk all business, I'm about to develop mine. Because right now I don't post much on Instagram because I feel like it's personal. I don't like mixing the two, honestly. So I would say maybe have a professional and personal accounts to separate the two. So in your personal zone on Facebook, you just be you, right? And then in your professional, be thing, unless there's some people who mix the two. So it's your comfort level. But I think as a branding perspective to have your pictures match, because they're just, mine's just smiling me. But, maybe you want a picture of you and your kids. There's no harm in that. But have a profile that's professional oriented too. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate the question.
Now it's Leila's turn. Please, Leila, give us your question.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It was very nice to know you and to hear your experience. It was very interesting, and I was like with open mouth listening to Katie Joania, the first question author. She's so amazing coach and trainer. I have attended her trainings, and she's asking about so easy questions. It's like she's like an example for me, and still she thinks she's not an ideal. It's very good. It means she's working on herself, and it's amazing.
Exactly.
She's very good, really. Now, as for me, I have a question that is like a complex for me because what I lack the most of all is I have never studied abroad. So I think, despite the fact that I think that I'm not bad in my profession, it's tourism, it's sustainable tourism, and I'm working in that about 18 years already. Still, despite that I am very sincere, I attend very many trainings, like working on myself, like developing all the time. Still, I don't want to complain, but still, it's always a question for me why I cannot succeed more than I am now. Because, for example, when I go for like job interviews or whatever, despite the fact that I think that I may be a little bit better than others, still others are chosen maybe because they have education taken abroad. Or I don't know what I am missing to succeed more. So it's a question, maybe you should know me better to answer this, but still, like from general point of view, maybe you can like give me some tip to understand myself, why I cannot succeed, because I am working hard on myself and I'm not really bad, I think.
Okay. No, I'm sure you're not. It sounds like you have a lot of great experience.
I'm sorry. I'm not very proud, but like to compare with others in practice. Yeah, in practice, I can do much more. Maybe it's not all about theory, but in practice, I can do. So yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. And I can understand your frustration because, excuse me, just like I started the presentation, it's like, do you see other people getting all the accolades and like why I'm not? So I'd have to look at your stuff to see exactly. So it's hard for me to see, but just to confirm this, you're working as your own business, or are you working in a corporation, or, you know, are you employed, or do you have an entrepreneur? Did I get that right?
I'm freelancer right now in tourism.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just want to make sure, because I thought I heard something. Okay. So you're a freelancer. So I guess I'd have to look at your website, see how you're presenting yourself to the world on your site. You know, a lot of times when people aren't getting traction, it's not that they're amazing, because you sound amazing. Like they have all the skill, and that's what breaks my heart, and why that's why I do what I do. I want to get people who've so experienced and such a heart to help people make that impact. Usually it's they don't know how to define themselves well, to differentiate themselves, or the message they're putting out into the world is unclear. So people are confused or not even sure what they do, or they're hiding. And like, you know, I get it, because I'm private, but I'm extroverted, and you're not giving yourself the accolades. And I get it. In Europe and all that, it's and from what I've heard, you guys don't promote yourselves as much as like Americans. Is that what I'm understanding? And I agree, you know, I don't want to be one of those people like, look at me, like I'm turned off by that, but there's a way to just show up and help others and show yourself off and promote yourself. Promote's a bad word. Showcase your expertise in a very authentic, I hate that word too, a very real way. So I think if I looked at your stuff, I could see how you're presenting. Maybe it's the audience you're trying to reach not relating to what you're saying. You know, so I think what you have is very fixable without seeing it, if that makes any sense. Does that give you any clues?
Another thing is that I think I'm quite clear, and I'm very supportive, because what is most amazing, the people, like when I'm talking about business, they are very kind with me, but they take ideas from me and like not me. See?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest problems, because same talking about with international organizations, because I'm very sincere, really, and I love my country and I want to succeed it and to put my brick in building my country. And whenever I come with ideas or whatever, they say, "Oh, that's great," and that's it. They do without me.
Yeah, that's not good. I do.
Maybe I'm too sincere. Maybe I don't really understand how should I act otherwise, like saying I don't know really. I'm so confused.
You know what? DM me on LinkedIn your website. I'll take a look at it. Okay, just to see.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
I will.
And connect with me, all of you, please. I'd love to connect with people. It's Michelle B as in brand. So Michelle B Griffin is my URL. So please connect with me.
Okay.
And I'll take a look at your. I'm pretty busy the next day or two, but I'll take a look maybe by the weekend and just see what I first glance. I'll look at it as like someone who doesn't know what you do. That's how I do it with my clients. I look at it like, oh, I play like, what do you do? So a lot of it is your forward-facing messaging, but you know, I'd have to know more about all that, but I'm happy to look at your website. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate really. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
no, thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much. And there is one question in the chat about books. Which book can you recommend? Yes, please.
Yes. Funny you should say, okay, because there's a lot of books on Amazon, at least in America, on personal branding. And I read them all, just like I've read just about all the LinkedIn books. And that's actually on my bucket list. This isn't a thing for me. I want to write a book to show people how to build a brand for professional results. So, that's a really good question. I've read them all. I'm going to have to think, okay, so I'll give you some that aren't really personal branding books that are by two of my friends on LinkedIn and one's a fellow story brand guy. One's called Content DNA by John Asperian. Okay.
Yes.
Content DNA. He's amazing. Even though it's about content, I told him, there's a review on Amazon I did in America. I was like, this is kind of like a personal branding book, John. So just off the top of my head, his is a really good one. And my other friend, Ryan Roten, wrote a book called Career Cred. And it's the word career, then cred, K-R-E-D. That one's a very good personal branding book too. He has a little bit different format, but essentially he's got a good deep dive. He goes really deep on some of the personal part of you. He's a fellow story brand guy too. He's a great guy. So I think I wrote a review on that book as well. Those are the ones that they have really professional based intention with that. Okay. My whole philosophy in personal brand, I'm not doing it for fluffy, narcissistic ways. It's to build you up, to build your career and in your profession and your business. So those are two I recommend, and I think you'll enjoy them.
Thank you everybody for your interest in our webinar. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing your experience. And if you like content on personal branding, please subscribe my channel. I host monthly educational webinars on personal branding. See you at the next webinar.